All good now. So, it's been a while since we had the discussion type videos. And,
Oh my god.
hey.
Too long.
So,
Just
how do
a
you
year
want
or
to do
so.
it? Because episode 1 and 3 are mainly focused on Omega's portion of the season. Or, well,
Yeah.
and then episode 2 is basically, well, Hunter and Wrecker.
Record.
I'm actually impressed by how well those two work together. But
I mean,
I think
I think
go ahead.
I think they fairly do work out, honestly, even though Record could have moments though. I think they can still fairly work out together though.
Well, for starters, at least the season started off pretty damn well because fucking hell, that entire plot line
No, no,
with
no,
the
no, 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 no. Hang on. We do not need that. The start of the season to start off with the previous freaking
Oh, I
the
skipped
last
that.
two
Oh,
episodes.
oh, I skipped that.
What?
I just went straight to the episode. What? I wanted to see what.
Well, no, yeah. So they started off the first episode with a previous from the Bad Batch, and it had to include the last two episodes. That's what they did.
Well,
And it hurt to
they
watch them.
included Crosshair's betrayal. Well, they included a lot of season 2 stuff. But speaking of Crosshair, I feel like he's gonna be the new Tech, just the more grouchy one.
I don't know, and just judging
Think,
from the poster too,
no,
like I just
think
don't.
about it. Think about it this way. We're gonna be bouncing around from the 3 episodes since who the hell decided to have all 3 episodes be released at the same time? That is so absurd. I'm not doing the regular review for that. That is just
Well,
absurd.
okay, I could talk about that, but of course we're not gonna. I guess we won't do that just in this scenario, in this for this review's sakes.
But what I do want to make a mention is that Crosshair basically is mentally dead. Like, he just doesn't care. He's in prison, which we do not know for how long. We just know that they're doing something to him. He sort of just doesn't give
He's
a
not
damn.
the only one, though. He's not the only one, though. Of course, we have the other prisoners that Hemlock has in his
Yeah.
at Tampa.
What's her
So
name again? What's the
Emery,
no, Omega's
Emery, um,
is that Omega's what's it called?
sister,
No, not sister. Her, like, the Kaminoan.
Nala say.
Nala say, there we go. I don't know why,
I'm
but she
sorry.
sounds so weird for some reason. Like, I'm like, are you always this slow?
Well, Kaminoans are kind of slow, and you kind of think
Not
about it.
not
Even though they're
really. But I do want to make a point that
okay.
for the first episode, it definitely puts it like just showing the entire cycle of how bad this entire. I mean, it's called Confined for starters, but
No
it
kidding.
it's supposed to show you like just how bad things are for Omega.
I just can't get over the fact that like during that cycle, like the first like after she gets greeted and like from memory saying like after seeing Crosshair, and then she goes and they go into that medical room, and you just see the clones are getting taking their blood samples. I'm like, and then I think you can kind of notice that each of those clones are just dying slowly each time their blood is being taken out, and it's
Well, we do
really
not know how
scary.
much. Well, we do not know how much. I mean, that is what this new jackass is trying to do. He's trying to do something. Are we not gonna mention how he just left those guys to die?
Yeah,
The
oh, yeah, sorry.
innocent
Yeah, that's the
troopers.
first thing too. That was the first thing too from the side.
He literally left them to die, and I find it kind of
That's how evil he
hilarious.
is. It's
And I'm
evil and
fine with
scary at the same
I'm
time.
fine with it. He's an actual intimidating villain. That admiral was just a piece of shit.
Kind of was,
Look,
yeah, but still, like,
look, I'm gonna
that's just how
always
terrible
bring
he
up that
is.
he was the worst villain for the Bad Batch. Easily just shoot him. Like, it is not that hard. But that's not the point.
I mean,
The point is not to
yeah,
hammer
okay,
that. The
so
point is to hammer how evil Hemlock is, which I think they did really well. They are showing
oh,
you
yes,
Hemlock is the scientist who has no ethical morals, which is funny because that actually brings up something from the end of the third episode. Because that whole blood thing, I already knew immediately. She's like the one.
We all know basically that. I think it's pretty obvious. It's blatantly obvious.
I thought that first episode was gonna end with them figuring it out, not the third one. No, because the third
I
one, I'm like,
know.
okay, it has to be this episode. I don't think they're gonna do another episode just her trying to escape. They don't have a lot of episodes this time around, which I'm
You
happy
could.
because it just means
Yeah.
that we're progressing the plot. I mean, yeah, would it have been cool to see Wrecker, Hunter, Echo, and possibly Rex and some Resistance bust in.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know why that upsetted me on episode 2 that Echo wasn't with them. I don't know why it did. Honestly, I know he is technically he does belong with Rex though with their like his
Look,
missions.
it made
I
it
don't know why
clear.
it bothered me though.
It made it
Was
clear
that?
that Echo is a bad batch like them because of how clones would treat him very differently after all that happened to him. Like it made sense within the wartime, but after the war, like there's a lot of things that make Echo and Rex like really alike. While
Oh yes.
obviously the original Batch 99 are unique to them. So I was fine with it. I mean, honestly, if Echo wasn't gonna do much, I'm kind of fine with him not being in the episode. But here's the thing:
I get it.
what
Yeah.
the hell is the deal with the so-called clone? I'm even starting to question if Omega's so-called sister is even her actual sister. Like,
I
I'm actually
still
like,
don't believe.
I'm questioning it
I
because
personally believe it is.
her attitude was completely what I'd expect from someone who is so brainwashed by Hemlock's stuff. But then again, it's like
Yes.
there's no, I don't know. Maybe they might bring a twist. Who the hell
The thing,
knows?
the only thing I can see it is because you know what? Yes, Omega is being that person saying like she found out that apparently she has a sister that she doesn't know, but then after Emery telling her that Hemlock has taken under her wing, it's gonna give off that Emery's gonna either Emery will eventually like side with Omega, like it'll take a while, it will honestly, or she really is just gonna stick with Hemlock's side. I don't know, like
Look,
I mean,
Hemlock
she does
is.
have some.
We know
Mhm.
that I don't know about Hemlock's fate. I don't remember anything mentioning him in like the later stuff, because I don't even think Rebels mentions him. Even if obviously
No,
Hemlock is a Bad Batch creation, they probably would tease some kind of name or something. Mention the.
I just feel the only thing that makes me just follow it, it's more of Rogue One. I'm only still saying that only because in season 2 we had Krennic, and he was the captain on that, or he was really the captain from that episode. So that's what gives me like saying like this is probably gonna base off further into Rogue One's storyline. That's what I'm thinking though. But that's just coming from me though. That's the only character that's just given off is Krennic. That's the only like based off character that we would know. But I doubt. I don't know if we'll. I don't think we'll. I don't know how much further of on these characters we're gonna see as of the season, the last season. So it just
Well,
depends on how they're gonna go. But
we know that. I mean,
I just
I think it's funny because Omega was befriending Batcher, was it?
yes, my I love that so much though. Honestly,
I mean,
I
it's
think
supposed to
I think
show Omega's like kindness, and it came back to help them in the end. So we know that.
oh yes.
So we know that everything kind of paid off. It's just like I said, the only reason that everything sort of went to hell or needed to happen was because not Nalase and Hemlock were distracted with the Emperor, and unfortunately, Nalase couldn't get rid of the blood this time around. So because of that,
Yeah.
it made it like, yeah, Omega, if you stay here and they find out, you are in danger. Like, because think about it, how many
Oh
times
yeah.
we do not know how long. They're very ambiguous with how long Omega's been there. And if I
Oh
could,
my god, seeing the tally marks that she made, honestly, like from the first time, or like probably it. I could say probably might have been like a few weeks or maybe like 2 months or so. But then when her hair just basically grew out and seeing those tally marks just rising up, it's probably been now like maybe a couple rotations by now,
I
honestly,
want to
and
say,
that's sad to see.
let's assume maybe a year or two at most, if we're going by like the highest count. Because to grow hair
I'm
like
not
that is
gonna lie.
still.
Mhm. I'm not gonna lie. I like long. I like small. I like the ponytail and the bang on Omega. This is just me going now just on details now because I just love how she looks in this season now. I just think it suits her, even though yes, she was originally with that bob cut hair and then like it was growing out for a bit, but I like this version of her for some
It
reason though.
the
I
well
just think
the
it's
season one when we first see her is unique to her in the sense that she's just new to everything, which I mean
oh yes.
I liked, and then season two kind of tried to put it as her kind of like a fighter, and this one is more or less trying to blend in the scientist side of her and her instinct as part of the
Yeah.
batch's fighter, which
Yeah.
look, I don't know what most people. I have not been looking through X or all that and seeing what people think of Omega because obviously people complain. They gotta admit that
I
she
think
is a lot more capable now. Cause let's be real,
oh
she's grown. Like she is for sure grown right
oh my
now.
god, yes, right now. And that's what I guess that brings up the curiosity on her acceleration growth in a way cuz
It's
again,
probably
she's
like
technically older. She's older than the batch still. That's still like that's something to still remember by. She's still older than the batch, which means
but her development is
we don't know
slow
what
though. Like it's normal
yeah.
like Boba Fett because if you recall from Clone Wars, Boba Fett was very slow as well. He wasn't like
Oh,
well, he was
okay.
adapting. I mean, he kept trying to kill Mace Windu and it kept failing, which was kind of funny.
That's
But
okay. And this is where I kind of want to know, like, when we saw him, like, kind of with that buzz cut hair as that teenage kid. I wonder if that's like around the area where, or at least like growth development as to where Omega is right now. That's
I,
what I'm
I
thinking
think
at the same
it's
time. But
I think it's somewhere
like,
around that. I wouldn't be surprised if honestly that's funny that you mentioned that because that just makes me think
hmm
of what's it called? That makes me think of Omega in season two, kind of emulating a bit of Boba Fett when he was like being into the bounty hunter business now.
yeah, exactly. It's feeling like it's you can kind of see where the growth is between both of those because technically they both. I mean, of course, they're both the same thing. They're both the same growth acceleration, and what is it? Even though one's female and one's male, I mean, obviously that's the main factor there. But
I do
you know,
like though that she does talk with Crosshair like throughout episode one, and trying to
oh
basically.
yeah.
I mean, obviously Crosshair's just being a total twat, but
Well, okay. I mean, the only thing that's really giving emotion for this is, and if you, and obviously if you haven't noticed, is the way that his hands are shaking now, which means basically from when I'm gonna say because of when during that mission when he was with Mayday, I feel like after when that explosion happened, it messed up his eyesight. I just feel like that just ruined everything on him, like mess mentally on his sniping skills and all that. I think from there on out, everything just went downhill for
I,
him. So
I personally think he's just been there for so long being tested and everything because I mean
that
they
could be
had
fair
they had
on
to
that.
punish him for trying to even escape. Which honestly, what
Yeah.
the hell is that sister even trying to do? Because I mean, she's supposedly trying to help Omega, and obviously telling. Okay, we'll get to the whole M count and stuff at the end of episode three to that point, but you know where I'm getting
Oh
at.
yeah.
What is her deal? Like
Yes.
like she says she's a help to Omega, and yet almost anything she's done has been such a hindrance to both her and Crosshair. So I'm almost questioning if it's just a twisted sense of uh, trying to do a false sense of security, trying to gain their trust, but in reality has like ulterior motives, which would be an interesting
I think
v- villain
yeah. I
architect.
can I could see that, and then the only thing that gave it away was because like when she was confronted with Crosshair when with what was it, Omega and Crosshair, and then of course Crosshair just set her to stun. Basically, she had the comm link, or she had that comm link basically ready for to tell Hemlock that hey, they're here. So
Nah,
it gives off
they
that
were
way.
gonna know. I think what would have been funny. This is what I had thought on that episode. But before we go, actually,
Mm-hmm.
before we go to that, let's go to episode two real quick, because fucking hell, the balls for both Hunter and
Hey, hey,
Wrecker.
hey! But we freaking saw Duran again from season one. That says something that there's no reason for filler episodes can't come back.
Which one was Duran
Honestly,
again?
really, Issa Duran from what is it? The infested episode, where what is it? He had his dealings with the Pikes. That's
Oh,
why Hunter and Wrecker had that Pike.
all right. I know what you're referring to. I mean,
How could you?
I don't
That's
remember
why
it.
filler
I don't
episodes are
remember
not
if I said it's filler, but I guess I can
good.
eat my words if that is. So I can admit, I guess some filler's fine. That whole season was just filled with too much filler, but not the point.
Okay, but Duran looked pretty nice in that now, and even though you could still, I mean, of course he still had that cut horn from them, but it was
No,
still
I think
bad. But
it's a way to circle it around that they managed to get information, even though it doesn't really give them the exact thing they wanted. It still brings them closer to Omega. But now that obviously Omega and Crosshair did
okay, but could
escape,
we give a moment? But could we give a moment to the details and the effects that happened on Wrecker and Hunter's armors? Like they've been going through some more shit, honestly, because Wrecker has so much scars on his helmet, and what is it? Freaking
well,
Hunter doesn't have the red
we
scarf
do not know
anymore.
how persistent they are. We probably think they blew up bases, basically, like they said the term they say, "I will hunt you to the ends of the earth." To
Basically.
base, that's the basic saying that they're going with. They're basically hunting them down through every single galaxy until they get Omega back. Which I did. Here's a
Exactly.
funny thing. Episode 1, prison. Episode 2, complete freaking horror. Episode 3, prison break. I'm like, okay, that's actually kind of funny how we're moving
Okay,
into the different
first,
types of
first one is
genres.
called Confined. First one is called Confined. I'm letting you know that.
I said it already, but yeah.
It's good. You just in prison.
Look,
Anyways,
I
but
think,
that's besides the point.
no, I think they did a pretty good job here, in my opinion.
Okay, and then back onto on episode two, and then after their what is it? Their quote unquote cornets that they got, and then that went well, and
It
then we got to freaking
actually,
see
yeah, it saved the cadets. I like that the
that.
cadets were like completely not trusting. They were disillusioned. They were basically lost because that brings back a point that season 1 and 2 have been bringing up. What are the clones? Like, what are their new motives now that the war is over, but they've been like discarded? What now? I think that's what
Yeah.
makes it interesting. But I see it in a bigger theme of soldiers, veterans. Once the war is truly done, what do they do? Like, what is their purpose? Obviously, we have like the whole subplot that's going on here, but with Omega and all that, like that's just gonna
Yeah.
happen in terms of adding more things for them to do. But it does bring back the
Mhm.
point of what exactly do they do now that it's all over? And unfortunately, the bad guys won. Because if the good guys won,
Yeah.
I can guarantee you, most of them wouldn't really be in the bad position they're in.
Yeah.
They would be doing what Rex was doing back in Rebels. But
Yeah.
it is an
Right.
interesting
Right.
dilemma, if I say
I
so.
think I feel like it was gonna take until season three for them for to bring back the cadets because I think we were all curious on what did happen to them because they were supposedly they were told that they were supposed to they thought they were gonna do more training but instead they were just being tested on like the others now until that orbit bombardment on that one area so that kind of felt really sentimental on their part that what again like what do we do now because you were born as soldiers and without anyone telling you what to do you have no purpose basically on what to do for yourself basically and the only thing they really know is survival basically
Yeah,
and whatever training they have left.
I mean, yeah, what do you do when that training no longer serves the greater purpose? But
Yeah.
moving to another point I would like to add is the whole thing of Wrecker saying, "Hey, we should probably wait," because basically mentioning,
Oh, Hey, hang on. Can we also mention the fact that freaking Hunter's now the one on the data pad, and then
What do you mean?
freaking they brought up text goggles again. I just sorry. Really, like before? I mean, it was after they got the intel, and then what is it? Freaking what is it? Hunter's just trying to make sure that the coordinates are safe, and then like we have this moment like he's on the data, he is on the data pad, and then we got the with a shot. And then right like on the left side, our freaking text goggles broken goggles right there, and what is it?
Look, I will say this. I will say this in terms of tech. They didn't bring him back like I thought they would in the first three episodes.
No. Hang on. We could say that, or we could still say that the new supposedly secret assassin now is freaking tech.
Okay. I don't know.
I still believe that only because of the trailer that gave off when that particular one was on Pabu, and that episode's gonna ruin everything. Cause I just want to know how on earth are they gonna find Pabu on this at this point. It's supposed to be a secret area.
Look, I'm curious. I am curious.
Yes. Only a few people know about that. One of them is tech, so that's what gets beyond that. But
we will just have to wait and see. But going back to the main remaining Bad Batch members, it's just nice seeing them. Like, I was fine that they still need help because they're not immune to a bunch of stuff. Like if say you had Jedi's going into stuff like that where they can use abilities, it's still nice that they're still grounded. If anything, I like that the cadet.
They're gonna get to that eventually. We're gonna get to that eventually. We all know that.
Well, yeah, but I was gonna say like I like that the cadets were having their own dilemmas because they're watching the Bad Batch, one of the defective versions of the clones. Careful.
Oh my god! They said 99. I was like, gosh, they said his name.
Nah, well, okay, that's because 99 is a special clone, and I would bet you that every single cadet would have learned of 99 after that whole Camino stuff. I can guarantee it, but that's a tangent of its own. What I do want to say is, I like that they had their.
We're still mean about it though.
I'm just happy we got 99 mentioned. I'm happy they were arguing about it because they definitely see that, okay, these clones are trying to save their own, so perhaps it'd be wise for us to go and help them. It just has a lot of cool things that I enjoy of having the characters obviously debate amongst themselves, and then when their other cadet was asking for their help, eventually it's like they helped because they're seeing that these guys are doing everything to save one of their own. So if they just left them, then they're no better than the ones that left them. So it's breaking that cycle kind of ordeal. But
but then they got into the moment where one of them was like, "Hey, what is it? Hey, we don't know if we should still trust them. Let's just take their ship." And it's like, okay, we're gonna get into this dilemma here, which. It's hard for them, like especially for how young they were. Honestly,
it's
for them to make such.
It's what I see for the most part. I'm pretty satisfied with that episode. Like I like these 3 episodes. I'm satisfied with the way the second one ended off. Like just having those 2 cadets go to where that planet.
They all 3 are gonna go to Pabu.
Right. That place.
Yeah. For someone who doesn't know Bad Batch much.
Okay.
Yes,
it's just names.
Guys,
it's just names. For the love of God.
Easy.
Anyway,
I'm sorry.
not the point. The point is that I enjoyed that they're gonna get a chance to truly live their lives in a more suitable way because they have a new future now. They're not just gonna be soldiers that could possibly end up dying for a cause that was honestly corrupted from the start. Now they have a chance to genuinely find their own path, which is something I like. But let's go to episode 3 because my God, Lee, that episode is filled with all types of action. If anything, I like it. I just love how
fun and
my thought was
Oh,
this. My thought was somehow I would have actually laughed if it happened. Somehow, because Palpatine's there and he's like his ship is the only one that can leave. It'd be ironic if Omega sneaked into there and was stuck in there while Palpatine just comes back and leaves the planet. I mean,
my
that would be
God.
that'd be kind of funny because it would mean that Palpatine is right there where his like thing to help with the whole cloning stuff
No
is on his
kidding.
ship. That would have been funny. Or if they steal the ship, I mean, if that happened, Hemlock would have been dead. I can guarantee you.
Oh, he would have been dead within an instant.
Because that would make him
Okay,
look
I
bad. But okay, go.
Okay.
You go. Because I've
Okay,
been.
and other than the fact that freaking I like Tear gave out, it honestly threw me off. Okay, I wasn't thinking Crosshair was gonna give off a good distraction, but then I was like, okay, he's also
His
not the hey,
distraction
open this door to
was
the
so
dark. And then
funny.
The moment when Omega,
His
I was
distraction
not
was.
expecting that rage.
No, his distraction was pure gold. That made me laugh. I just laughed because how much of a badass you have to be like, okay, hey, you. Yes, I'm talking to you. I'm pulling rank. Give me, oh, I'm gonna leave this cell. You're gonna give me the gun, and I'm leaving. And they're just kind of like, what the hell is he on about? And then if it happens, and then, nah, that entire sequence was just pure
The
gold.
moment the door just opened and you just hear him screaming. It's like he wanted to let that out so bad, but you wouldn't see that in such a character like him.
Nah, he probably had enough time to contemplate everything before just starting to beat everyone up. Cause the
Well,
whole
he
real
did, but
go ahead.
I just love the scream he gave out. I'm sorry, I can never get over how funny, hilarious that was to see out of him. I think he deserved. He needed a moment like that to rage out like that. It was
Nah,
just
I think
unexpected.
he had a good amount of time to contemplate. Okay, this is all
It's
happening.
unexpected, that's all I'll say.
Yeah, this is all happening. I see now what's going on. Yeah, the Empire are not worth it. Like, it goes back to the original version of those Bad Batch episodes in the Clone Wars. He had mentioned if he had been abandoned, he wouldn't be so loyal. And it's like, I hate that they changed that because it fits well with Crosshair's thing that he's very on point with orders, but if he gets betrayed, he holds a very strong what's it called? He'll remember it, and he holds grudges.
Yeah.
Like he definitely is a person to hold
Exactly.
grudges. So
Oh, yeah.
but what I wanted to say is obviously Nalase telling Omega, "Hey, you need to get out of here. Like things have gone way too dangerous now." And then when Omega goes to try to get Crosshair's help as well as try to free him, I like that Crosshair's like, "Wait a minute, what changed?" And
Yeah, what
I don't-
changed?
I think her desperation of we just need to go is enough for Crosshair to kind of probably put together that something went wrong and that this is kind of a now or never. Granted, I like it that that's not a plan. Like he's almost like
Not.
Tech. He's like Tech. Like he doesn't like improvising. Cause I know Tech.
No, but
Tech doesn't like improvising. He can.
No, he can't, but it's not in his nature to.
If they have to
Otherwise,
improvise,
they would just-
yeah, if they have to improvise, they will, and it worked for their benefit. Everything they did, obviously, knock it. If they honestly, if I was Crosshair and that what's her name again?
Marie, or you're talking about no, not let's say.
No, Marie or the
Marie.
Emery. If I just saw Emery, she'd be shot, like no hesitation. Just shoot her with the stun.
Yeah.
Like if that had happened, they wouldn't have been as alerted about what's going on. But we'll get to the Emperor stuff last at the end.
That's
At the end.
That's a fun topic.
I don't want to go into that because God,
Yes,
would
we
that
do.
make this
We do.
video even more longer than it is.
No,
But
no, because we gotta
no, let's talk about how they escape
talk
and
about one project that is
Necromancer, Project Necromancer. I'm like, Can they be on the nose about it? Like, or do they have to be on the nose about that? Like, I was like, oh, come on. Obviously, necromancer.
Oh my
What does that
god.
word mean in the grand scheme of things? But that could be a video of its own.
Oh,
That can be a video of its
it's
own.
no.
I'm not gonna go
Okay, I mean,
into shenanigans of that.
I know we don't see, I know we don't see nothing of that. All we do see is the freaking vessels that they have, which is still scary regardless on what is their plan. It could be related to the freaking Zillo beast that they were trying to create. It could just be. I don't know why I thought of this. Some for a reason thinking it was something to do with the Purge Troopers, and I don't know why I was thinking at the time, but it just came up. I doubt that though, but it's something's going on that apparently either we know or we just don't know yet about. Which is
Look, whatever it is,
terrifying.
it is going to be big. That's all I'll say on that matter. I did like that Crosshair basically had asked Omega if she knew of Plan 72.
72.
So I do not remember what Plan
And then
72 was.
she had to say it that yes, Tech made me memorize every
I love
He's like,
Crosshair's
"Oh,
response.
you
Like, yeah, of course he would. Like he knew.
did."
I wonder if he knows that
Here's the
Tech
thing.
is dead.
That's the whole big discussion right now, everywhere right now. We don't know if Crosshair knows about what happened to Tech or not. I think he doesn't know, honestly. I really don't think he does.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, Omega could have told him at some point while they were trapped. Maybe.
I just
Who knows?
I don't think so.
It is kind of
Because
hard to tell, but I did like that their plan worked because like I said, Butcher came into play. They were about to be killed though. That was the whole wild thing until the whole blood sample came into play, and Hemlock's like, "Oh shit! Wait a minute! Call it off! Call it off!"
Oh, call it off! She's the one! She's the one! I was like, shoot, here we go. And then I'm just laughing my ass off on him. I was like, haha, you can't do shit now because you have to let her go.
Yeah, I know. But it makes me think back that we're basically back to season one's thing that the Empire's after
We
Omega
are.
all over again.
And you know what? This is gonna come into play when either Fennec, Cad Bane, or Ventress are gonna be the ones that are hunting Omega. It's gonna be one of those three.
If
or
Ventress,
we'll have to get someone new.
we do not know. Look, you know what? I did not expect them to have. I did not expect Omega to have left this early. I thought it'd be halfway point, but that's fine. It basically adds in a lot more bounty hunters to get thrown into the mix. So I'm pretty much excited to see what exact. First of all, we have two teams. We have Omega and Crosshair. They're gonna have to figure out a plan because Crosshair's not gonna go back to the batch. I doubt he will. Maybe he might return Omega to them, but I doubt he's gonna go back to them. If anything, he might as well just become a bounty hunter, which is more or less the de facto of I don't have a place anymore. I need a place.
That could possibly be a thing.
No, imagine
maybe,
a bounty hunter Crosshair. Like he would be almost
I've
as.
I've seen a few fan arts. I'm not gonna lie. So and one of them is that too, which barely he really does give off that. I just think that his shaky hands are gonna be the only thing that's gonna be the issue. That's what just gives
That's a
me
temporary issue. Things like that don't
It's not
usually
re-
stick.
Okay, no, it's not. Considering how he is, it's really not unless he does find a way to solution. Yeah.
Look,
yes,
I don't look. His death flag is still up. It's just not as big as I originally thought. For sure.
Who
now.
are you thinking? Who are you thinking?
I thought he was gonna save Omega from there and die on the whole thing, but because it was episode 3, I'm like, he's not dying. He's not dying this early. But I will say this. I mean, to be fair, I thought of him having a higher death flag than Tech, and somehow Tech died. So, I mean, I can always be wrong. But
Shut up. Okay, we don't need to talk about that no more. I just still think that he's alive somehow.
Look,
and if they don't want to at least show, I still think he is at a secret assassin clone.
Look, the problem is Hemlock's gonna figure out. I mean, if she was the key,
or he has him captivated in one of those vessels. I just think that. I definitely think that.
We'll go and start finishing this up. We definitely know that Nalisay's in trouble because for him to have figured out
that's for sure.
for him to have figured out that the protege had the M samples and that wasn't notified, yeah, she's in big shit than she was like from the beginning. Clearly, clearly she's Hemlock's gonna use Nalase to try to lure Omega back. That it just seems like that's gonna be
I
the
don't
case.
know. I don't know this time on that case. I feel like it's not. I feel like either she's just gonna get punishment for a bit, and then maybe that. But
Well,
I just
he
don't,
can't
as
he
of
can't
this
kill
moment,
her. The thing is, he can't kill her. She's the
he
one.
can't.
She
He
knows the
can't.
whole
You're not
cloning
wrong.
process. That's why they got her. Like she's the only Kaminoan that knows that. So unfortunately, it's not like she can die.
Okay, okay, but then again, the prime minister is still alive. Let's not forget that he's just in prison right now. We
Uh,
thought he was dead, but he's not.
hmm. You make a point.
That's the only thing that makes me say otherwise. Even though, yes, I doubt they will probably. I doubt they'll bring him back. But he's still technically alive right now, unless they do say, "Oh, he's no longer alive" or something like that. I just.
I'm trying to remember what happened to him, or what they
So
did
what
with him.
happened? They just. I think they just put him back in prison, though. No, no, they gave him his. I think they gave him his freedom because it was his freedom in exchange to bring Nalase. No, was it Nalase? Nalase and Omega together, basically, for to Hemlock. It was something like that. So
Well,
then
yeah,
we
but
really
I
didn't
mean,
know.
I feel like if he comes back into play, I mean, it's just gonna be like, all right, how do we capture her, or what do you know about Omega to capture her? But I doubt he's gonna come into play anyway. If he
Oh
does, then
no!
it's probably a minor thing. If anything,
Think,
if he
think
comes
about
back, he's
no, no,
dying.
no. Was that?
If he comes back, he's gonna die. Like there's no way he's gonna live
Well,
through it.
this time he'll be. Yeah, if let's just say if he does. I mean, again, yes, we don't know, and we kind of. It's a really small possibility. It really is, and I don't deny that though. I just think that if they do bring him back, it will kill him for sure. You know what? And you know what? Something. This is probably like okay. I'm gonna mention it for this season. This is probably the one season in animation style, in Lucasfilm animation style, that we've seen blood being brought up into this. And this show has been awarded for like top 10 like top kids awards. I'm like, yeah, you're gonna show it to your kids, alright?
Look. When they make a good story like this, it doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, they have to tone it down a bit, but
It doesn't. But think about it for a kids show.
I mean,
You're
Star
gonna
Wars was a
say
kids
that.
show.
Really? I mean, sure, beheading, stab wounds.
They
like
never
that.
showed it explicitly, but I mean,
Hey,
look,
hey, hey,
overall, I will
kids
say this:
said about-
all episode, maybe episode, unironically, yeah, episode 3, 2, and 1. That's the order to highest and lowest. Like, it's not lowest to like bad; it's lowest that it was. They're all really good. It's just they get better each
Oh my
episode.
god! Okay, sorry. I gotta talk about episode 2 again because, but okay, the vine creatures weren't so bad, but when they started evolving, that definition of that animation effect and everything that was put into that little creature was terrifying.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
I was pretty caught off guard by that. I gotta give it that.
I,
As I said,
you can
I'm
tell
sorry we're bouncing around. We just have to. It's 3 episodes in one go.
it's 3 episodes in one day, honestly. But you can tell how far this animation has been from the first season to where they are now. They've improved on it very heavily. It's such an applause for them, honestly. I personally love the heavy stuff, but at the same time, it kind of caught me off guard, like how heavy it got.
Nah, things are for sure shaping up to be, well, pretty dark.
Because this is the final season, so yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
it,
it has
it's
to be the
well. The
darkest.
thing is, I don't really have a good prediction for whether they'll survive or not. I mean, that can be its
I don't
own.
think they will.
That can be
I
its own
don't think
thing.
they will.
That can be its own thing. We'll probably do some kind of live stream for that. But overall, as a weird review that is not normal, yes, I won't be editing it normally because this is way too long. Let's just put it this way. pretty good. All 3 episodes were really good. If I were to say which one was the MVP for each one, number one, you can't really say MVP because that's kind of hard to really narrow it down. I guess Nala say because she basically reveals that she's been protecting Omega, even though that's probably gonna cost her. For episode 2, it had to be Hunter, only because it is pretty cool just seeing Hunter and Wrecker, their teamwork is pretty cool, and just throwing the freaking Pike guy.
Yes.
And he's screwed. Like, the dude is screwed.
He was.
So
that you know what? It's something you don't expect from the Pikes of all of them to be like the one down. It had to be the Pikes on them, and you expect them to be so high and elevated and all that, but no, they dropped the ball.
Yeah, I know. And then for 3, you'd think Omega for sure because she definitely had some kind of idea of to escape. But let's be real, Crosshair with that. The freaking letting out all his pent up aggression and it working for him, like that was funny.
That was pure.
I do want to mention Omega cannot escape without Crosshair. As much as she could, she wouldn't make it far because she still lacks the physical capabilities of fighting, compared to Crosshair, who he could not escape without Omega. So they needed each other. So I do want to make a point there. In case someone...
As much as he didn't want to admit, as much as he did really deny basically on having help or just basically saying you don't need me, he kept on saying that he really did needed her in a way. So they again, like you said, they really did needed each other.
The thing though right now that I'm gonna see is that next episode, I mean obviously it's not gonna be freaking 41 minutes of worth of video, but
I totally did not check the times on each episode. That's why I was like, wait, how long are these episodes again?
Episode 1 was really long.
It was though. I mean, it wasn't as season 1 episode 1 long, but it was fairly long though still.
I don't know. All I know is that things are moving forward. I am kind of excited to see what Dave Filoni's gonna do. I want to know when the hell Ventress comes into play and what is her role, because she's supposed to be dead. And honestly, we're keeping anything outside of the episodes. We'll save it for a different for a stream. But for now, ranking for each one, all of them are 10 out of 10. Season started off really strong, so I can't say anything bad about it. But what do you say?
You can't say anything bad about it.
Okay.
Again, again, they're all 10 out of 10 for me. I think this is it's a strong start for this season 3. And as for the next episode called A Different Approach, I'm worried how that's going to turn out, but we will see when that day comes.
It'd be funny if it's a Hemlock episode where it's like, my approach to this is not working. Let's take a different approach.
Yeah. You know what? If that's true, then you know what? I will commend you for that. That's the only time I'll commend you for that.
I'm screwing around, obviously, but if that's true, oh my fucking gosh.